Our first gentleman was crowned an ultimate champion in 2015. He knows all about championships. He's from Birmingham, Alabama. Let's put the woo together for Mr. David Lee, the champion, the ultimate. David Lee, welcome, sir. How are you? We were excited to have you here. You subtly brought your championship belt. I like that.
It was strange. I had it in the car.
I
carried it around everywhere.
Yeah, you had it in the car, but it was hanging from the rearview mirror, and I thought that
it's
was
also an air freshener.
It is.
So
it is.
good.
It's nice. It's nice. So,
Just here.
becoming an ultimate is a career-changing moment because it means that you've done away now with the contest and you can just, rest on your laurels. And you have nice laurels, by the way. But the
nice laurels. I keep them in my back pocket.
Yeah. You've lost some of your laurels, too, over the last few months.
50 laurels.
50 laurels. Oh, that's just whoop-de-doo.
Did you know that, Tom? I lost 50 laurels.
You did. Wow. I extend to you this laurel and hearty handshake.
Well,
there you
Yes,
go. Thank you very much. But you became an ultimate champion. You've been a tribute artist for a number of years. But how did you find Elvis? Like, what happened in your life that, like, who was that guy? Did you have a moment?
Well, a lot of my buddies, they got the story, and I've heard Dean say it and some other guys, Mama put me on the coffee table when I was 3 years old and made me a little jumpsuit. That was not me. I was 22 years old before I really discovered the real Elvis. I'd heard songs like Hound Dog and the basic songs, but a friend of mine that I worked with, I got in the car with him one day to go to lunch, and it was Elvis all day. And so the next day we went to lunch again, it was Elvis. After about a week, I said, "Is that all you listen to?" And I thought he was going to punch me. He said, "What's wrong with that?" And I said, "Well, nothing. I just never met anybody that only listened to one person." Well, after about the second week, I started asking, where do you get this? And what about If I Can Dream? And give me a copy of this. And so I started collecting Elvis stuff. And so that turned into a huge hobby. Even to this day, I have over 10,000 pieces of Elvis memorabilia. I have over 1,000 Elvis 8-tracks, man. Who needs that?
I know.
I still buy them, and Tara's like, "But don't you have How Great Thou Art?" I'm like, "Yeah, like 28 times, but I'm buying it anyway."
Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't leave Elvis behind. Man.
Nothing to play them on, but
I can play them, man.
We've been antiquing together. We
sure
don't
have.
leave anything Elvis related. We don't leave it behind at the store. One of us brings it home.
It's like the Marine thing. No man left behind.
We do not leave. We do not leave.
You guys
Elvis.
know what I'm talking about. I see you at the tables over there.
Oh yeah.
John Daly's back over there. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
He has the I love David Lee buttons and the I hate David Lee buttons.
That's right. I don't want to know which one sells the best. Just give me the money.
Just
off
exactly.
That's what Tara says.
That's right. Now, for you also, at that age, 22, there had to be a first show where you go up on stage and like, okay, here I go. Was it all you wanted it to be, or looking back on it, would you rather forget it? Because if you'd rather forget it, it makes a much better story.
Yeah, I'd rather you not mention it now at all.
Exactly.
We'll talk about it. Now, I probably am the most unique of anybody because I actually did my very first show with another guy who also had never done Elvis. And so we both decided to dress up and sing some songs to a guy that worked with us that was leaving. So the guy's name was Bill, so we changed the name of Moody Blue to Moody Bill because the guy kind of had it. So we thought it would be fun to do that. And so we did that. We sang about 8 songs. He rented a costume. I bought a costume at a costume shop, and I remember trying it on. It's the only one the lady had. And so I come out and I said, "Well, what do you think?" And she said, "Honey, that's a medium, and I think you need an extra large." But it was the only one she had, and so I bought it, and it was about this long. And so Tara's grandmother put from right here down with gold lame on it. And so,
okay.
Oh, it was a real looker, man. I don't know if I still have it. If I still have it, I'll bring it next time.
You probably wear it now.
So after that show, and my buddy, he went on to he's a lieutenant in the police department, has had a great career. But that day, not one person told him, "You sound like Elvis," or anything. And I was not really set out to do an Elvis career. I'd never thought about singing really like for that. And I had 20 people at least say, "Man, you sound like Elvis." And I said, I just had listened to it so much, it came out like it went in, And so the next thing you know, somebody said, "Would you sing at my sister's birthday? Would you sing at this wedding? Would you sing on the street corner?" And I was, "Of course, yeah." So any competitions, local, I was there, man. I was like, "Let me show you how good I am." And of course, looking back, I wasn't very good, but thankfully there's no Elvis police to arrest us because some people get better. So, So, but you know what? It's easy for guys now to jump online and find a pair of white Florsheim boots and a $3,000 suit and a $2,000 wig and come out looking great, and that's great. I kind of had it the hard way. You know, I had to beg and borrow to find out where you got this and where you got that. And to be honest with you, not all the Elvis guys were wanting to tell you. They thought they had their little thing. And so I always told Tara, and even to this day, if somebody asks me, I always help them. I always guide them to where, you know, whatever it may be. Which, hey, that's the Elvis thing to do. I just feel like Elvis would have done that too. You know? So,
well, and the thing about it's the brotherhood that I talk about backstage. There's just a certain camaraderie among the performers that you guys are always there for each other, always looking out for each other. That first gig led to the next gig, led to the next gig. And I've always said that the ETAs, generally where they are, you're the Elvis ambassador. All your friends know that you're the Elvis guy. In Tupelo, growing up in the 60s and 70s, in school, I was the Elvis guy, the storehouse of information. Albums were coming out. They were all new and things. What is, when you're just kind of at the house wanting to listen to Elvis, what's the go-to? Because you and I are like album guys. We love whole albums.
And I'll be honest with you, you can put on an album, you may have heard some of those same songs in the car the day before, but you can put on an album, it just sounds better.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, it puts you more in the mood. But when I'm just listening for myself at home, there's no show I've got to practice for certain songs. I like some of the 60s stuff. His voice was just so airy and full, and some of those songs are way undercredited. They're beautiful songs. Of course, some of them are super popular songs, and some of them are not. But I like that. And of course, the 70s deep cuts. You know, and one song I've got here, "The Last Farewell," is a beautiful song. Got that in one of the shows for old time's sake. Songs like that. You know, of course, "Promised Land's always my favorite. When I'm in the car, man, I just crank it up when it comes on. It's like I've never heard it before. It's rock and roll, you know, it's great. So.
It's kind of like now, if we hear somebody else do "Promised Land," we're like, well, that's kind of David's, you know.
I never say that.
I will speak up for you because I feel the same way when you stole "There Is No God But God." I mean, I know.
But I did feel guilty about it at least.
Well, you called me out for the second verse, and luckily I had memorized the second verse, same as the first verse.
That's right.
That's why it's my song. I'm not a singer.
I won't do "There Is No God" no more, but I am going to start singing "Big Bad John." So.
Okay, well,
you want to tell them that?
Oh, you tell them.
Well, we were at the gospel show last week in Tupelo, and so the name of the song slips me now. Oh yeah, I know what it was.
We'll cut this out of the video.
Yeah, and so the song comes on, and so Jeff said, I think it was Jeff said, what is the name of that? And Tom was so confident in his answer. He said, "That's Big Bad John." But it wasn't. It was a thing called love. And Tom's caught us. He said, "I was so sure of myself too." But it happens. Yeah. Why we would be doing Big Bad John at a gospel show, I don't know. I didn't cross that line with you, but.
It was the end of a long weekend.
Yeah,
I thought I was at a Jimmy Dean festival. I just didn't know anymore. Now, all those shows, and you've done so many shows, is there one that stands out as things, when you're doing it, when you arrive or when you're there, you think, well, this is messed up, but this is one of those learning moments that I'm going to learn from this show?
Yeah. Well, now things are so organized. Thanks for people like Cody and Jeff that put good festivals together. Everybody kind of knows what they're doing. But, you know, early on, you're learning yourself, and a lot of people that hire you don't know. And so, you know, you show up, sometimes there's no dressing room. Like, people didn't have the forethought to think you had to change clothes. I don't know if they just think you walk around in a jumpsuit all the time.
Yeah.
So I have changed in horse trailers. I have changed in, closets. I've changed in a state park bathroom, and I literally had to stand on the toilet to change because there was about this much liquid in the floor. I don't know what it was. Nowhere bothers me now. Now, of course, here I have my own private dressing room in the back. All the other guys are sharing the ladies' room, but I've got my own room. But
that's true.
They'll get there. It takes time.
But it's weird. You still stand on the toilet to change pants. I just think there's no need, but you do.
I do it now.
It's just kind of a tradition.
Just in case.
Just in case. Now, also, one of the things I've discovered about ETAs is their incredible knowledge of makeup. So what tips do you have if you say you love to mentor the young ETAs, be it male or female. Do you have a piece of advice, makeup related, that you could pass along?
Sure. When Savannah was 14, I was picking her up from school and we were talking about mascara. And she looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, "Don't all the dads talk to their daughters about mascara?" So usually when I have a makeup question, I ask Savannah. So a lot of the guys, I don't want to give their secrets away because some of them do a lot of contouring and try, they may want extra cheekbones or whatever it is they feel like they're lacking, butt pads or whatever they put in. I don't know. I don't use a lot of makeup because I'm naturally gorgeous.
Exactly.
You don't buy it for a second, do you, Tom?
Yeah, really, yeah. We'll edit that part out, too. Being an Ultimate Champion means that David is one of the few that has competed and won in Memphis against other guys. It happened to this gentleman in 2015, and that is the Windy City belt. Yeah. But you have another belt that, to me, is the most.
To bring it.
I wish you had too. I don't know.
That would have been great. But you know that belt, it's much like this one. It stays in a case, locked up behind glass, and you have to have white gloves on. Look here.
Oh my gosh! Look, there it is. Tell us about this championship belt.
This is the belt. My daughter got the $20,000 cash. I got the belt.
And by the way,
so this is.
I have my white gloves.
Several of the guys have a gold belt, but this one is made out and it says ETA World Champion. So it's quite an honor to own that. I'll be honest with you. Now, just for reference, David Allen put it on and he started losing his breath because it was so tight, even on his little body. So I never wear it.
But it did fit.
It did fit.
Angie has cloth white gloves. You guys have surgical gloves, and
you really, I see you wore them a lot there. Yeah,
I'm not really
great,
sure.
Man.
I may be cursing someone out in sign language here, but
you look like you've had a long week already.
Yeah, really. I'm going to go ahead and I'll let you touch that and move on with it. But thank you, David, for bringing that out.
Thank you, David. David, you want to come back and get this one in a minute if you don't? Thank you.
Actually, when you shake hands with David, you have to wear white gloves. So I didn't know if a lot of you knew that.
Right.
You know, but we thank you for being our first guest out of the chute, and for always representing Elvis, and for always
appreciate it, man.
Always sitting by me at gospel. I appreciate
I'll always sit by you.
That's
man.
exactly
always.
right. Exactly right. I sit by David Lee and just listen because he knows every word to every gospel song. David Lee, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you all.